Already in the first few seconds of this film, purely through character animation, you straight away get a good sense of what kind of character Porco is. He's an unbothered, easygoing, aura-farming, wine-drinking pig. Simple as that. And that's not just because he can't even be bothered to remove the magazine off his face initially when he answers the telephone, but particularly how Miyazaki has Porco use his fat feet to drag the table closer to him. Like, he's not even interested to get up and do that. It's one of those details that says so much about our main character without a single line of dialogue. Like, put this on mute, that information is still all there. Even the apple being partially eaten, pretty small, yeah, but it shows that he isn't even bothered to finish his own food. I would say there's about 5 different elements here that all mix together. And I think it's very fair to give the animator behind it, Yoshiyuki Momose, his shout out for actually animating all this. It seems in the storyboard, Miyazaki was initially going for the fat drunk uncle vibe. The wine bottle on the table was originally empty, and there's a second one on the ground, which is instead replaced with a bucket in the final, half a bottle of wine, and some fruit now. You know, he's got to be a little healthy. But more on Momose's amazing animation, which just had me locked in. His portrayal of weight is so good. The way the plane slowly sinks down as Porco steps in, but when he's fully in and sits down, naturally with all the extra weight just falling in at once, the spacing gets wider and the plane just quickly drops down, but also sways off to the side before settling. Like, what a great portrayal of weight and physics. And in the next cut, again, as Porco is putting a lot of weight into turning this thing, all that force travels down, making the plane sink a little. But Momose doesn't sync the plane and Porco's movements together the whole time, which is really, really clever, because you've got 3 separate forces, so to say: Porco, the plane, and the water itself. And because the plane weighs obviously much more than him, it's a pretty big object, so it keeps naturally bobbing up and down and actually falls out of sync with Porco. But that does bring me though to the final detail. So because of that pressure or force being lessened, Porco isn't using his whole body anymore to turn, which is a nice detail by itself, creating a variety in his movement. It's not just like a loop of him doing the same action over and over again, but also because of that downward force being reduced, the plane slowly starts bouncing less and less and gradually settles. Just first class work by Momose. Even earlier with the first scene we went over, he also showed a great understanding of weight through its portrayal in even the smaller things. Take notice of the legs of the chair and how they press down and move up and out in accordance to where the center of Porco's weight is being placed. I absolutely love it. I think whenever I've discussed weighty animation on this channel, it's usually been in reference to punches and hits, but communicating weight with objects like chairs or planes, I think it's something that is pretty overlooked. And it sounds like a straightforward process when I spell it all out like that, but it does take a good eye to notice these details and then actually animate them. And also a separate thing, I like how simply Momose makes the water not feel dead. Like, yeah, Porco is in this cove area, middle of the day, so there's probably not going to be massive waves just like crashing about, so you can't express movement through that way. So how do you do it? Well, he adds these thin ripples to the top left of the screen, which just plays on a loop, and that gives the illusion of movement. Then some other things while we're at it. I do appreciate the approach to not having the plane just take off straight away. It goes up and down before finally lifting off from the sea. And the gradual build-up of speed is done very well through how he animates the propeller. First stage, he's drawn what's referred to as multiples in Western animation, kind of self-explanatory. Second stage, that becomes flat, wide smears. Third, white brush strokes are brought in. Fourth, the white propeller smears are removed. Only these small miniature ones around the hub remain. The white lines expand in width. Then the fifth and final one, the white smeary lines are then reduced, the white outer circle is broken, and it's just these 2 groups of these wavy lines moving very slowly apart between frames compared to before. Now, these are all pretty common animation techniques by themselves, smears, speed lines, etc. but it's how well Momose implements them, delicately using each one in very particular stages. Besides Momose though, Miyazaki's storyboard deserves some praise as well. He creates such a strong visual as Porco shoots out, and that's in big part to the dynamic composition. Now say if we replace this shot with one that was straight on, directly looking in, I just don't think it would communicate as much energy. But with the camera sitting low, near the water and off to the side, it better portrays the size of the surrounding environment, which in turn makes the plane feel smaller through a contrast in scale, but then that makes the trail of water shooting into the sky feel big, which in turn makes the seaplane feel powerful because this small thing is doing all this. And on a completely separate note, the color choice of a bright warm red for the aircraft just contrasts so beautifully to the cool colored coastlines and sky. But anyway, that's all. I only just watched this film a few weeks back, and that opening sequence particularly caught my eye. I mean, honestly, a lot caught my eye. The amount of beautiful background art in this movie is unreal. Then there's Shinya Ohira's bit, which just, that's just next level. Anyways, I better stop there. Thank you to my patrons, thank you viewers, and I'll see you later.